Bahrain qualifying is nearly upon us and the drivers look as if they're all geared up to go. I expect we'll be getting underway very shortly. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Welcome back to F1 2019, everybody. We are here in Bahrain. It's a new race weekend. I've already gone through all the practice sessions, as I figured you guys don't really want to see those, and it would kind of be better to just jump into qualifying and the race. People are already getting out on track, so we are going to do the same.
The car settings screen on your multi-function display will allow you to change various settings as you drive. Open the display with the MFD button. You can then navigate up and down to the setting you want.
Be quiet, Jeff. Anyways, welcome back to F1 2019. We're still with Alfa Romeo. Research and development wise, we had an upgrade fail. Our engine upgrade failed, which kind of stinks because we actually need a stronger engine. But our chassis development passed. It succeeded. And so now we have a lighter chassis, which has made us the third to last fastest car on the grid. We passed Toro Rosso. We're now faster than them, but still not much of an improvement as it's quite early in the season. Here in Bahrain, the only night race, actually that's not true, Singapore is a night race. This is the first night race of the season. Famously a race where a Ferrari mechanic was ran over in the pit lane, unfortunately. He is all well now, but I remember watching that race live. The Ferrari mechanic got hit in the pit lane, and then a Toro Rosso went on podium. So it was a very good weekend for them. Let's hope it's a good week for us here at Alpha. So far, practice was very strong. We had a very strong result in practice. Did some research and development, got some more points, which I reinvested into redoing the engine upgrades because I want to focus on engine and aerodynamics for this car. But yeah, we had some research and development happen, so that was very good for the team. Kimmy and I are neck and neck in the points right now. I also did a Rivals McLaren event, which you guys didn't see. I beat him there, and that gave me some extra rivalry points against him. This is not feeling like a fast lap. I know it's a tangent, but this really is not feeling fast at all. I want to try and get as close to in the points at qualifying as possible. If you guys didn't see last race, we had a bit of a mishap with the Toro Rossos, so I'm glad that we're faster than them now. And I do hope to out-qualify them as to get in front of them. We are currently third fastest. That is actually pretty good, but not a lot of cars have gone out yet, so we are going to have to hold our breath here, but we only have to qualify higher than 16th in order to move on to qualifying 2. Looking at the timing sheets here, we've already been bumped down to 4th place. You'll see the fastest cars on the grid here, the Mercedes running a 130. They're running a whole second faster than I can. I'm sure if I really push this car, I could get into the 130s, but I mean, just look at that. We've almost used 10% tire wear and we've only done 1 lap. Little bit of post-lap commentary here since I did this lap without talking. This lap felt amazing. Q2 was most certainly when this car was fastest. It had a brand new set of soft tires on it, super duper dialed in, low fuel, very, very strong battery. I was able to put in an incredibly solid lap in Q2. Like you'll see here, we're almost hitting 330 kilometers an hour on the straightaway. You'll see right there 330 before having to brake for turn 1. Had a little bit of a rougher entry into turn 1 than I wanted, but it was faster than it was in Q1, so I was happy about that. Into the DRS zone, coming up to turn 4. Just as a whole, this lap felt really great. The fast sections felt fast, the slow sections felt just super accurate. Like you'll see there, even though I had to slow down quite a bit for turn 4, I was able to stay on line fairly well. I think there were a couple spots where I could have made up a little bit of time by not being on the rumble strip as much. You'll see in this later section after this middle straightaway, I guess you would call it, that I had to do some changes there. I messed up the braking line here, so I ended up rewinding. This is such a tricky corner because you have to brake so quickly, and if you brake even a little bit late, then you're done. Like for me, if you go over the rumble strip, it means that you won't have the braking power needed even if you brake in the right spot, and if you brake late but stay on the tarmac, you'll still overshoot. So that corner was really tough. There's a couple spots in the race where that happened too. But for the most part, yeah, you'll see here, this felt super fast. I think I was on the rumble strip a little bit too long right there, but otherwise, this lap felt super, super good. You'll see all the guys in front of us running a fastest lap just constantly, and then we actually end up running a fastest lap as well, hitting over 300 kilometers an hour here. Huge acceleration on the straightaway in this car. I had no idea. The aero upgrades we did made this thing cut through the air, and boom, a 130.85. Super fast. And there it is. We were bumped by Bottas, but we make it into Q3 for our first time ever. Vettel behind us, Hamilton behind him, Leclerc, Verstappen. The McLaren's making it into Q3. Very impressive from them. Some of the Haas cars getting knocked out. We see Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. Wait, did Kimi not even make it into Q2? Whoa, 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 whoa. Making moves for Alpha here. Alright, time to go into Q3 and try and set a fast lap like that, because if I can do that again, then we'll be qualifying in the higher order.
That's you into P2. You're currently on the front row of the grid. So far, our fastest lap is a 1:30.8.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Leclerc and Lucky. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race. The curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Sakir as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. We go racing today around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. And And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Lucky. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good, solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Lucky, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel and Perez, Verstappen, Sainz, Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, Grosjean, Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Butler, Stroll, Raikkonen, Daniel Kvyat and Nico Hülkenberg. Weber and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
That was always the goal, Jeff, a top 10 finish, but we're slightly better off than that right now. We have two options here, a two-stop strategy where we will be starting on softs and then going to mediums for the rest of the race, or a three-stop strategy that's a little bit slower that has us on softs, mediums, and then softs again. We're going to stay with the two-stop strategy as this is only a 29-lap race. But again, we're going to turn up the fuel to about 32 laps. Since last time I turned it up about a lap higher and it was not as efficient as I wanted it to be. So we're going to overfuel it a little bit more for this race. But with that being said, the grid is set. Let's get ready to go racing. That was a fast lights out. I was not prepared for that. We already get jumped by Bottas, and we get jumped by the more Ferraris, the Red Bull, the Force India. Lots of combat here as the race begins. We've already been bumped down the P8. We have a nudge with Verstappen. Carlos Sainz in front. Have some front wing damage now. I can feel it. Sainz was quite slow through the corner. I was not ready. We're going to try and overbrake him. We make it past. He tucks in behind us, nearly hitting Verstappen, coming out of turn 4 as we set in to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Make a dive with some trail braking on Verstappen. We have contact.
That start was okay. Now stay alert for threats around you.
Jeff says the start was okay, sounding upset that we lost our P3 position, but in all fairness, it didn't seem like we were going to keep it for very long anyway. Yes, this car definitely losing its speed against the higher speed cars of the midfield like the Force India, the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, and especially the Silver Arrows, the Mercedes. Got a little bit of understeer there due to the front wing damage on the right strut. I'm just curious about who's behind us now. We're going to keep it in rich mode for the time being. Just try and set ourselves apart from the cars behind. Lewis Hamilton runs the fastest lap of the race at 136.1. We take it in 8th here, trying to get as much slipstream from Perez as possible. Heading into lap 2. Heavy braking for turn 1. The speed check corner here in Bahrain. As we head through the switchback, DRS won't be open for another lap, so we won't have any chance of catching Perez. Like I said when I was here with the Racing Points, I actually won the race. The Racing Points incredibly well suited to the Bahrain circuit early on in the season. We can only hope that our research and development team becomes stronger than them as the season continues, and that we can outdrive Sergio Perez here in Bahrain. I see that white arrow behind me. I believe it's Verstappen. We underbrake here. I can see Verstappen in my rearview mirror. That Red Bull, much more powerful, a much more refined chassis than this car has. He is not. He's staying out on those soft tires. Wow. All right, pitting in now. We're going to swap tires currently. We have 50% wear all the way around. Wow, this track eats tires up so fast. You see cars coming in behind us getting ready to pit. Norris pitting behind us. We seem to be
racing as you leave the pits.
rejoining the race a little bit farther behind than I would have liked. P18, but we're getting the undercut on the other drivers. Going with the two-stop strategy. Now we're out on fresh mediums. We still have the front wing damage.
If you cross over into the track.
But for the most part,
Nice work, that brings you up a place. Gap to teammate ahead is 2.2
oh, and Perez
seconds.
is making a move on Weber. We get it right up behind Weber here. He's on very, very old soft tires. He's going to have no grip. The goal is to get around these guys as fast as possible. They have absolutely no speed. Having to move around Weber here. Battle of the late breakers. Complete accident breaking that late there. And a traffic holdup. Devon Butler, like usual, being an absolute idiot. Holding up Sergio Perez, causing him to get
Fuel target
squirrely.
is +1. Faster engine modes are available.
And him getting squirrely makes him go slower as we get into the DRS zone, up into rich mode. The Toro Rosso behind us making up some ground. Starting to feel a little bit more grip loss here. The battery running pretty much zero. Turn it back up to Rich for this last straightaway section. Try to make a pass on Perez and Butler. Surprisingly, neither one of them have gone in yet. Butler moves to block the position from Perez. Incredibly aggressive from Butler. We're going to get DRS here, but those engines of those cars are just fast. And you can see holding out the pit signs.
By a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
Where it takes Verstappen and Magnussen.
3.2 seconds.
Up in the 7th, there's a car in the pits. We get passed by Perez. He's turned it up massively. Heading into turn 1 of lap 14. We try and get the cut back on the inside. He's super slow on the exit. Taps the front of our wing. We're going to turn it, keep it at rich. Check our engine damage, or our wing damage. We don't have any. I want this position from Perez. He's slow on corner exit and fast on the straights.
Catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race. We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Grosjean, you absolute idiot. Forcing me out over the rumble strip. When I was on the racing line, he goes up the inside, retains the position, P7. We're going to make a late braking move here. He's probably going to get the switch back on us. Nope, he falls right back in line. Perfect. We're able to keep the position. We get good braking here. I see Sergio Perez up ahead. He's very quick in that car. We have very little fuel left. 5 laps to go in this race. I want to see if I can catch him, but I wouldn't be surprised if I couldn't. We'll definitely make a run towards turn 4. He doesn't have DRS. I can feel a little bit of lightness in the front wing now. I think we just went 3 wide. slowing me down, keeping Grosjean close to me here. We're gonna make a move. His tires are so done. And he tucks in behind us as we make an incredibly clean pass. We gain some fuel back too. We're gonna move to the inside. He's gonna go around for it. We go all the way. We go the long way around it, but we're still on the racing line. He tucks back in behind us. I have DRS still for some reason.
We're leading our teammate by 5.3 seconds.
And here they come. 3 wide into turn 1. I'm going to break the latest out of all of them. I'm going to get the worst line out of all of them. They're going to be much quicker out of this corner than I am. But I'm somehow able to keep P6. There's a yellow flag in the zone. There must have been a collision between 2 of the cars going through turn 1. And there was, but we are good to continue racing.
Right, some information on Grosjean. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Roman Grosjean crashed out of the
safety
race.
car may be deployed if there's an incident.
I know what the safety car is. We had it last race. Roman Grosjean's had a massive issue. Where is he? Where is he? I want to see where he is. Here he is. Oh. Yeah, he's lost his whole rear diffuser. Him and Max Verstappen must have come together at some point. He's completely lost his diffuser. He's slowing down, pulling to the side of the road. What has happened there? He's pulled over. Wait, why did Sergio pass me? What happened?
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green.
And now we're green again. What happened? How did Sergio get back in front of me? I just slowed down to not get a penalty, and then all of a sudden Sergio's in front of me without a yellow flag warning? You should have to give back the position. A little bit of slipstream from Verstappen is going to cause us to have to manhandle this car a little bit more. We tap him on the back as him and Perez really get away. Surprising that Perez is still able to keep that much pace in the car with all of his old rubber that he's got on there. He has super old tires. Now's the time to push. 2 laps to go. As long as Verstappen can help me get around him quickly, that's all I care about. Make a lunge around both of them. That's going to be exceeding track limits for sure. They're going to make me give back the position. We get around Verstappen again. He's so slow through the corners in comparison to us. Convincingly try to turn it up to Rich. We make another lunge on Perez's car. They're going to make it back on the straightaway, but it doesn't matter as long as I can fight for the position with nearly one lap to go in this race. All right. We're really going to have to push now. Only 2 laps left. Be on the serious defensive guard here. They're going to have DRS. I'm just going to have to straight up outspeed them in the parts where they don't have it. Turning it all the way up to Rich. And we cross the line. P6 in Bahrain.
Good job. You did really well. Super driving.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
And that's going to do it for this video. We move up to 8th place for Alfa Romeo now with 9 points on the board. 8th place in the Drivers' Championship and 4th in the Constructors, meaning we are still best of the rest in the midfield fight. Thank you all for watching. Like this video if you liked it. Comment what you want to see next on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up to date with the newest F1, Forza, Project Cars 2 content. And be sure to follow me on my socials below at @mflareman on Instagram and Twitter. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.
Just to find somewhere that finally